Hello, I'm Charmaine Champ and I'm a Continence Consultant and Trainer specialising in continence, sleep and behaviour assessments for children, including children with autism, a learning disability and complex needs. It's true, this is a video about poo and making poo, but don't worry, there is no real poo involved in any of this video. So why am I making a video about poo and making poo? Well, this is actually the 10th video that I've produced during a series of short videos. So I've been able to share support and advice about how to be successful with children's sleep, behaviour and continence. So if you haven't had a chance to have a look at the other videos, then please take a look and hopefully you'll be able to find them as helpful as all the other families that have been feeding back to me. So poo is not always a topic that families feel comfortable speaking about with their children. And poo is also not always something that carers or professionals think about or look at when assessing children and their health needs. Or if poo is discussed, often the question, does your child poo regularly? Or does your child have any trouble with their poo, are asked. But unfortunately, this does not provide enough information for an accurate, comprehensive assessment. So poo needs to be understood and explored in depth to really help our children to be successful. So if you're a family trying to help your child understand poo, or if you're a professional supporting a child and family in your clinic, and trying to help them to be compliant with advice around drinking, eating, or even taking medication, or if you're actually delivering training, then this is the video for you. When discussing the difficulties that can occur when children are actually settling to sleep or waking in the night, poo was highlighted as a possible reason for sleep disturbances. Also, when discussing the difficulties that occur when children are starting potty or toilet training or being able to actually sit on the toilet comfortably, poo was once again highlighted as one of the possible reasons for preventing toileting success. So please feel free to check out my other videos for step-by-step guidance on how to address these areas. So, poo really does matter. Poo needs to be our foundation, physical health need, our starting point in exploring why our children may be struggling with their sleep, a bit like me talking today, struggling with their sleep, behaviour and continence needs, as well as a starting point for any assessment that we as parents, carers or professionals carry out. So the aim of this video is to promote understanding that there are different types of poo and looking at how many different types of poo there actually are, what they look like, and of course how to make your own poo. But don't worry, as I said, there's no real poos involved in this at all. And most importantly, to share that it really is okay to speak about poo and recognise what's okay and when your child may need help. According to the Bristol stool chart, here's one I prepared earlier, there are actually 7 different types of poos. As I've been able to explore in my other videos in depth, the normal pattern for passing a poo is passing a type 4 poo. Soft formed poo 3 times a day or up to 3 times a week. Any longer than 3 days between poos means poos are absorbing more and more water in the large bowel and become drier and drier, like a type 1, 2 or 3. I've been able to explore in my videos how poos can almost get stuck and form a poo traffic jam, which can result in part of the poo being passed being either a type 1, 2 or 3, as well as softer poos passing around the drier, harder poos, So you can also have your type 6 or 7. So it's so important to understand the different types of poos, because by doing this we understand what is actually happening with your child and how we can help as professionals, as well as how you can help as a parent. When I'm working with children and their families, I promote understanding of how the bowel works, what's normal, exploring when children may need support, and explain the different types of poo through drawings, pictures, as well as showing examples through craft homemade poos. And again, don't worry, there's no real poos involved in this at all. Also, when I am working with carers, schools, charities, organisations and professionals through training, I also promote the need to encourage everyone to be visual when talking about poo. Why? Well, because when we share how the body works, the different types of poo and what they look like, we are actually empowering families and empowering children. So if there are any difficulties with poo, families and children can actually understand why they need to drink, why they need to eat certain foods, or even why medication may be needed. So by empowering children and their families, we can ensure that advice and support is carried out, and families know how to help their child, and ultimately children can then be successful with their continence needs. I really wanted to make poo more appealing, inviting even, if that's even possible, which is why I've designed gift wrapped craft poos. So I've just been able to show you the list of all the different arts and crafts materials that you actually need to be able to make your own poo. And you can find these materials at either like The Range, Hobbycraft, or even on Amazon. So once you have all the materials, you're ready to start being creative. So let's have a look at each poo. So we've got our type 1. So we've got our label, and as you can see, these are the polystyrene craft balls, and all I've done here is I've actually just painted each one. You might want to wear gloves for this one, that's why I put that on the list. And you've got these jars just to keep them in. So you've got your type 1, the polystyrene balls. You've then got your type 2, and then here again I've just painted with the brown paint the polystyrene balls, and then I've just glued them together. So you've actually got, so it actually looks more like your picture. So you've just actually got those to stick together. So that's your type 2. You've then got, which was in the gift bag, you've got your type 3 here. So with this was actually a poo game that I was able to get from Amazon. And all I did there was actually put the brown paint on, just to spruce it up a little bit, and use some brown card and use a hole punch and actually just stick those on, so it actually looked like it was more bobbly like the type 3. But unfortunately it has been passed around quite a few training sessions, so that's why it's in the gift bag, just to keep it all together. So that's your type 3. You've then got your type 4, oops, got a bit sticky there. You then got your type 4, and this is actually from The Works, which is actually a like a stress toy which you can actually squeeze. So because I always class this as our super poo, I actually wanted to give him a little cape, so he's actually got SP for super poo on the back. Which the children absolutely love, which is why I do it, really. And to be honest, whenever I do all the training sessions with the professionals, they really love it too. So yeah, it's really great to get people engaged and talking about poo. And also it can give you an idea that actually it can be soft. Yeah, so this is great. So this is from The Works, and then again, I've just been able to do almost like a label with the Bristol stool chart. and then just tie them around. So that's our type 4. Then we've got our type 5. So with our type 5, again we've got it in the jar, and these are actually just art sponges. So that's what we've used, and again we've done the label. So these are art sponges, and they actually just come just like that. So it's just perfect for our type 5. I'm sure that's not what they're actually for, but that's what we're going to use them. We've then got our type 6. So this is more of our mushy poo. So what I actually do here is I actually make up a separate, this is just an example of a porridge, obviously no advertising involved. This is just a porridge that I make up. So with the porridge, instead of the milk, I actually use water with this, and then I find that it lasts for about a week. So when I'm doing sort of clinics and when I'm doing training, I know I've got it for about a week, and then I'll just make another batch. So it lasts for about that long. So with this, I just make it as it says, maybe not put quite so much water in. Make it up in the microwave as this one is meant to be, but if you want to use any other type of porridge, it's fine. And then I just tend to use like the acrylic paints and then just mix it like with a spoon. What I tend to try and find that if you actually make this in a separate container that you don't really want to use at another time, and obviously we do not want to be eating any of these contents at all, they're not edible at all. So once you've actually made that up in a container that you won't need to be using any other time, you can then transfer it into here. What you find is if you don't do that, you can see what's happened here. It looks like you've actually got mess on the side of the jar. So this is better if you transfer it and just put it straight in. And then again, because these are actually screw top, they're sealed tight, so nothing's actually going to get in there and it's not actually going to seep out, which is ideal. So that's our type 6. And then last but no means least, we have our type 7. So I have actually trialled lots of things to actually have like the liquidy to show people that it's actually a liquidy type poo. But I didn't want to risk it because sometimes I have to travel quite far to do training, and I didn't want any leaking just in case, even though they don't leak, but I just didn't want to risk it. So what I've actually done is from the Bristol stool chart, I've actually been able to cut out, and I don't know if you can see, I've just added a little bit of glitter because it just needed it a bit more sparkly. So it's a bit more appealing for children. So with these craft poos, what it's actually doing is it's actually involving children. It's involving the families. They can really have a look. And what I found within training sessions is that people are actually looking, and before they were saying, no, I have no issue with poos, or actually, no, poo's not a problem in our family. But by actually looking at them and actually having time to spend a little bit longer with the poos and the pictures, as well as actually seeing what they look like, families are actually coming forward and saying, do you know what, actually this is happening with my child and I thought that was normal. So obviously what we're aiming for our type 4. But what we always say is we aim for this with caution. So sometimes children can pass extra large versions of that. So sometimes families are still saying, oh no, everything is fine with me. My child is passing a type 4. But then when we look at the size, we then find out that actually they're passing very large poos. So actually they do need some help. So actually by sharing these resources and our homemade craft poos, it actually can help children and their families. During this video, I've been able to share the 7 different types of poo according to the Bristol stool chart, clarifying what is normal for poo and when you may need help. So just to clarify, when you might need help is if your child is passing a type 1, 2 or 3 according to the Bristol stool chart, or if you notice any soiling, which would be like your type 7 in the underwear, or if you feel that your child has any discomfort in any way. So we've been able to clarify what's normal and also when you might need to have help, as well as being able to make your own poo to help your child understand poo and to support you as a professional with delivering training or having the craft poos within your clinics and the roles that you play there. Ultimately, I've been able to share how important poo is and that it really is okay to speak about poo. If you or your family or the service you work for within would like any individualised support for children or any further advice, then please feel free to contact me via my business page over at Continence Consultant and Trainer, and I'll attach the details. So see and speak to you soon.